So normally I always ask, how was your weekend? But I guess we started the weekend off together.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Food Truck Friday, one of the best days in Bloomington. I really used to love it when it was at
Chocolate Moose.
When they had that outside shack.
Yeah, that's definitely where we visited the most, but I had a really good time.
Yeah.
I feel like eating out some tasty food and not paying too high of a price.
Yeah, I think it was an ideal day. It was beautiful out, but there was also a football game, so it wasn't overly insane there. Yeah. I think it pulled some people away.
Ours was just navigating our way home.
Oh, yeah. How was that getting home?
It wasn't bad, but I don't know. The game couldn't have been over. I mean, we got home by 8:30.
Okay.
But there were tons of people on sidewalks, like, leaving the game.
I think IU shit on them real hard, and people are probably like,
early.
yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering if that was the case. From my past memory of IU football, it would have been the opposite direction.
Yes, yeah.
But I guess they've been decent, right?
Well, they did very well last year, far exceeded expectations. And then going into this season, they doubled ticket prices.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, straight up doubled them. It's insane.
High hopes.
I guess.
We should talk about something that surprised us at the food truck was a pretty fun act.
A full bassoon band?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra members that started a cover bassoon band.
It was fucking cool.
It was super cool.
5 bassoonists. Is that what they're called?
Sure.
And a drummer.
Yeah.
And they opened with Crazy Train.
Yeah. They played some Billie Eilish. Britney Spears.
Metallica, Britney Spears.
Yeah.
I never in my life thought I would hear a Randy Rhoads solo played on bassoon.
No, and it was like, we made a comment where it was like, I don't know. It sounded totally like there was like guitar up there. Like it was crazy.
I'm curious. We should get them in.
Yeah.
Like, what effects are you running?
What kind of pedals are you using?
Yeah, it sounded like guitar, and whoever was playing, I couldn't tell which member. We were a little far back, but it sounded exactly like the solo.
No, it was
wild.
It was pretty cool, but yeah.
One of the reasons why Bloomington's awesome, right there.
So today we have Tucker from Thorr-Axe.
We do.
Awesome.
Welcome back to another episode of Noise and Nonsense. I'm David, along here with Stephanie, and we are welcoming back our first returning guest, getting the inside scoop on something big in the Bloomington music scene.
Thorr-Axe is known for their heavy riff-driven sound with a blend of traditional doom and sludge influences. Their style can be characterized by a mix of slow, crushing riffs, powerful drumming, and harsh vocals, all tied together with a thick, atmospheric vibe.
Tucker, thank you so much for coming back and sitting down with us.
It is a privilege to be the first returning guest. I had no idea that I was going to have that mantle lobbed on me today. I love it.
Well, it kind of comes with an asterisk, while you as a human is a returning guest, but the entity you are representing is different.
That's true.
So it might be obvious, but what are you all doing here? What are you promoting? Your Bandcamp says, "Let us die in peace."
Yeah, so that was the final release. What was supposed to be the final release from this band came out in 2019. It was a split with some friends of ours from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, called Green Altar, and we were done. We were over it. We were cooked. We just kind of ran through the paces of what we felt like the world of like stoner sludge doom had to offer, and we were on to other things. I mean, Jacob and I had already started working with Throne of Iron by that point, and we just were done. We were over it. But you can't keep a good band down, I guess. And everybody keeps telling me that we were good, so I guess, unfortunately, I have to roll with that. And around August last year, I got COVID like a week into the school year, as one does when you work for a school system, or if you're a parent. I'm sure you get that. I got COVID and I was stuck at home for the first, I don't know, like 4 days of school. I was able to work the first day, and then after that, I was down for the count. It beat the hell out of me, but I had enough gumption in me that the classic Tucker thing happened, where I got a riff in my head, and I was just like, all right, time to hobble down to the basement. And then a song fell out of me, pretty much fully formed, and I wrote all the riffs, arranged everything, wrote lyrics, demoed vocals while I had COVID. I was coughing between takes.
I bet that was brutal.
I don't know if I can actually do better than the take that I have. So they might what you hear when this eventually gets released may actually have been what I recorded when I had COVID. And then it kind of sat for a while, and I just ruminated on it, and I showed a few people. But then about, I want to say March of this year, or May, it was May of this year, I revisited, I opened it back up, and then suddenly everything just started pouring out of me. It was new stuff. It was things that I had ideas for when I was, 17 to 19. So this would have been over 15 years ago, like songs that I had tried to start back then that, either the people that I was playing with then weren't into it, or they couldn't play it, or I simply didn't have like the songwriting mindset that I have now to finish them and make them work. But now I have all these songs that are falling out of me where I feel like I'm avenging my 17-year-old self in some regards.
Yes.
It's like I'm making the material that I feel like I should have been. So that's where we're at.
Do you feel any sort of pressure to live up to the sound and energy you all had in the earlier years, or are you just focused on evolving and like creating?
I think that people who like the old stuff are definitely going to vibe with what we're doing, because like on the last release that we did, that was very indicative of a big shift that had been happening stylistically in the band starting in like 2013, 2014. With the second album, it kind of started leaning into more of like a black metal direction. And in my mind, from the very beginning, there had always been kind of like a black metal lean to some of our stuff that we were doing. But it started becoming far more pronounced and far, like that final release that we did, the song Toland, like that one was about as bleak as I think that band ever got. And it went some pretty dark places. And I don't think that that's indicative of where this is going forward from where we're at now. The name of the last release that we did was The Great Schism, because it was a split, and I thought that was funny. I started reading into the history of like the split between the Catholic and Orthodox churches, and I just thought that was a cool concept. And in my mind, the way that I would explain where this album is going to go stylistically that we're working on right now is that it is it's like a time split. It's like, imagine the timeline split after the first record that we did in 2011, and it's like everything after that doesn't exist anymore. And we're going back to essentially what I wanted to do, which was a very like prominent synthesis between stoner doom and black metal.
Even in a clip, I sent you a message. We won't say what that message said, but and I've even heard some mellow death in there too, like mellow death, black metal, and I'm very interested to hear.
And that makes me feel nice, because like when I started Thorr-Axe in high school, like we're going to go way back. I started this band in 2007. So I was 16 years old when I decided that I wanted to play like in a stoner doom band. But at the same time, like I wanted to be in every kind of metal band. Yeah. So it was like every other week I was like, okay, I got an idea for like a melodeath song. I've got an idea for a stoner doom song. I got an idea for a black metal song. And I wear my influences on my sleeve pretty hard. I think as a vocalist, especially the way I do things in Thorr-Axe, speaking of melodeath, I really can't think of a vocalist that's had more of an influence on me than John Henry from Darkest Hour. To me, they were like, they get lumped in like with the mid 2000s metalcore thing. But in my mind, like they were a melodeath band. They were a melodeath band that came up in like the DC hardcore scene, but they're a melodeath band.
I do have to air my grievance of people labeling melodeath as metalcore, because metalcore kind of evolved from metal death.
Yeah.
Or mellow death. But it really irks me when someone's like, oh, I show someone like, At the Gates or this band Ill Disposed. They're like, oh, that's kind of metalcore. I'm like, it's not. It's melodeath. Like, yeah.
Have you and I talked about In Thy Dreams before? I feel like I may have brought them up in the last episode. Maybe. It's to me like they are like the platonic like form. Like this is like the pure distilled essence of like melodic death metal. Like before it started kind of getting into like more synthesizer driven kind of like mid-era Soilwork thing. It is just fast and aggressive, and but it's the whole time it's like that riff style. Oh man, it's peak. It is absolutely peak.
I like to call them, it's advanced Judas Priest riffs.
Yeah. It's painkiller, but like fast.
Yes. How's the Bloomington heavy music scene changed since you first started, and how do you feel? Did this shape your decision on returning at all? Because I feel there's a plethora of doom bands now. It's like at the time I feel like Thorr-Axe was the only doom band, in the early 2010s.
We were definitely an island. Like I struggle to think like outside, definitely in Bloomington at least. I mean, there were doom bands in Indianapolis. I mean, we had Apostle Solitude and the Gates of Slumber, but I mean, there really just wasn't much beyond that when we first came onto the scene. Bob Fouts, who recorded the first demo that we put out and the first full length, at the time he was playing drums in Gates of Slumber. So, and he mentioned like over and over again how refreshing it was, because I mean, to see guys our age kind of getting into this stuff. I mean, at the time we recorded that first release, myself and the drummer at the time were 18 and our bass player was 15, which is, crazy. I was actually talking to Jem from Vile Iniquity yesterday about how much he missed out on how crazy metal used to be, especially in the all ages circuit. I mean, I feel like there are multiple generations that are being robbed by the fact that there is no Rhinos anymore.
Yeah.
It pains me. If I wasn't there was a period of time from like 2010 to 2012, or actually no, it was longer than that. It was like 2014. If I wasn't playing at Rhinos, I was volunteering at Rhinos. I was there like doing sound or just like working door or just being a part of it. I was there constantly. I had to drop the bomb of like, dude, we used to have like 2-day like local metal fests. There were enough bands. There were enough local bands for us to stock like 12 band bills, like a 6-band bill on Friday and a 6-band bill on Saturday. There was enough for us to do that for 3 years straight. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we could do that now.
I don't think you could. I think there's maybe five metal bands now in Bloomington.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and to be fair, I mean, when we were doing Rhino's Metal Fest, I mean, we were pulling from not just from Bloomington, but I mean, like, there was definitely some action going on. Like, there were some that we were pulling in from Vigo County. There were some that we were pulling in from like the Indianapolis area that were like regional faces that were around semi-frequently. But it's a night and day difference. And again, I truly think that the fact that there isn't a consistent brick and mortar space like Rhinos now, I think it's a travesty.
That was a cool place. Dave
Britton.
Yep. He was an awesome human being.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's doing well in the world these days.
Yep. I talk to him every now and then. Yeah. He's doing, I always tell anybody who will listen anytime that comes up, that it's just like, I owe the fact that like I play music and I book and I do everything with the ferocity that I do because Dave Britton believed in us. And I think that there's a lot of bands that came up in that Rhinos era from the Bloomington area that could probably say the same. Yep. That, having somebody like Dave that believed in them and gave them a chance and put them on a stage was a huge factor.
That's where we played when I first moved here. It was Rhinos or bust, really. Mm-hmm. And the first time I played there, it was crazy. People went insane there. They lost their minds, and it was an awesome space. It was a big space.
That place very much put my life on the trajectory that it's on now, because like not only were like some of the earliest shows that I played there, that was where I learned how to do live sound too, and that was kind of my segueing into like, here's all the things that I can apply to eventually getting into recording. So it was a big deal. I met my mentor there, who taught me a lot about not just audio stuff, but also electronics repair.
Yep. Shit, I should have given you my dark class.
I don't have a scope. I don't know how useful I would be.
It's true. So going back, we talked about kind of your earlier days. Who were your influences back then, and who have your influences changed over time? Where are you drawing your inspiration from?
When I first started Thorr-Axe, I mean, like, it was coming hot on the heels of, I mean, the Sword had just put out their second record, Gods of the Earth. I mean, like Age of Winters, I picked that up when I was 15 and it melted my brain. That was kind of like a lot of the formative years of my learning how to play guitar was, you know, I like many other early 2000s youths, you know, you start on the classics, you start on Sabbath, Metallica, things like that. But then I heard Age of Winters and I picked a sacrificial guitar to tune down to C to make it work. And that was my practice for the longest time. Was I get home from school, not do my homework, and I would just play along with Age of Winters from front to back. And that was like, all right, here's how I guess I can do in the box, like, bluesy guitar shapes. But at the same time, I was also listening to like a lot of mostly second wave black metal. So like definitely like Emperor, Immortal. Enslaved was the big one, because Enslaved were the guys that were not afraid to start incorporating like clean singing into things. And we never did that on the early stuff, but there's admittedly a little bit of that on the new stuff because I wanted to try to integrate some of what I wanted to do back then that I just lacked the skill to do. I really loved the Enslaved guitar sound on some of those early records too. It's just super, super harsh, lots of high end. I call it icy because that's about the only way I can put it. It sounds like you're chewing on ice cubes.
So you kind of hit on this a little earlier, but if you don't mind expanding it a little bit, do you find yourself looking back at like your older tracks with a different perspective now? And where do you feel like Thorr-Axe is headed?
It's all older stuff to me now. Which is so crazy to say, just because like we split for 6 years. This is definitely us trying to take what we established on the first album, Wall Spears, and try to integrate more of the black metal element, but in a different way than we ended up doing on the second record. Like it's kind of just a different, like you're taking different ingredients out of it, rather. It's hard to explain. And it's not even like a conscious thing. I just feel like I'm kind of looking at it from a different perspective this time around.
Mm-hmm. You had brought up, like you said, you had pulled some songs out of like the past that you felt ready now to like, finish, I guess.
Yeah, it's like I had them on cold storage, and I think that speaks volumes to at least how they stood out to me, because I never demoed those songs. I never wrote them down anywhere. They were just in my head, free floating for 15 plus years.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how, but
yeah, that's impressive. I was like, I can't remember what I wrote last week.
Yeah, and sometimes, but I remember there's a quote from like an early Ozzy Osbourne biography. I think it might have been an unofficial one that I remember reading in like junior high, where he mentions that he told his dad that he wanted to like start playing music, and his dad told him that you need to give people something that they can hum while they wait for the bus, and that stuck with me. I very much was back then, because I didn't really have the means to like demo anything, and I hated writing out guitar tabs. It just seemed clunky and cumbersome to me. So that was my litmus test for anything that I wrote, was like, if it doesn't get stuck in my head, I don't fucking keep it.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it.
Thorr-Axe has always had this epic, almost cinematic kind of soundscape to it. Do you think your approach to songwriting in that way has changed since the last time you've written for the band?
I think a lot of that comes from the fact that I like have to threaten multiple recording engineers to put more fucking reverb on the thing. So they're all afraid to, and I'm engineering the stuff now, so I'm not afraid.
Oh, you have free reign now. Yeah. So y'all have always had like that epic and almost cinematic soundscape to the band's sound. How has your songwriting or approach to songwriting changed since the last time you have completed songs?
So towards the end of the original run of Thorr-Axe, we were very collaborative with songwriting. It very much was the four of us getting together in a room and more or less jamming things out. That's changed pretty fucking dramatically, because I think the way that Jacob and I work now, especially with how we've done things with Throne of Iron since the beginning, is like I'll drop a fully formed song in his lap and be like, "Can you do something with this?" And then he'll listen to it and be like, "Oh yeah." And then he tracked drums for this record in, I don't know, 7 hours. 13 songs in 7 hours.
Machine.
Wow. Yeah.
Because he
impressive.
just drilled them that much. He'd been practicing for like 2 months on just these songs. And then I had to fuck him up because another song came out of me. So I dropped another song in his lap like 2 or 3 weeks before he was supposed to track. And that was the one that he was like the most fucked up about. He's like, I'm not going to get it. Cause like it's very black metal-y. It is like straight up like triplet blast beat through a majority of it. And he was like, that might gas me. I might actually not be able to get this one. And lo and behold, first take, because he does that every time. He did that on Throne of Iron Adventure 2 as well. Okay. The fastest song on that record, he was really weirded out about it, and then he just nails it on the first stage.
Nice,
asshole.
yeah.
But songwriting's definitely changed. I mean, I didn't have the recording capability that I had back then, especially not like in the very early days where we're kind of hitting the rewind button and going back to. Definitely didn't have the ability to do that then. I mean, it was a crappy mixer into the mic input of my mom's laptop running Windows XP and Audacity at best.
I remember those days.
Oh man, those are the trenches.
Yeah. So doom sludge can often be personal in the music and lyrics. What concepts will you be going to move forward with, and will it be more of a storytelling perspective like some of your older material, or do you plan on bringing life experience into your new tunes?
I'd like to think it's like a good middle point. Writing the lyrics for Throne of Iron Adventure 2 really kind of changed my perspective on what I can do with this kind of stuff. In the old days, I always avoided writing personal stuff because my mindset was like, I know everybody else is going to be able to write better, like personal life experience shit than I have. I mean, I was 19. I didn't really have a whole lot under my belt, but I'm 34 now. And I've been through some shit, is the best way I can put it. And I feel like I have not just like the life experience, but also the songwriting experience that I think that I think I have the skill set to articulate how I feel about things, and not just, emotional like life experiences, but just trying to relate like metaphysical concepts and ideas to people. Because there's a lot of that. We've always drawn from like Norse mythology and like history and stuff, but I mean, there's some concepts that I feel that get brushed over and things like that contribute to a certain worldview that I think would be valuable to share with people.
Yeah. Kind of going back, do you want to go? Could you explain where the name came from? Let's go.
I love explaining where the name came from because it's really stupid.
Stupid's the best.
So
look at my band's
many years ago, many eons ago, back in the early days of what was becoming gamer culture, there used to be a TV channel called G4 Tech TV. And there was a show on there called X-Play that was hosted by Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb. Around the time Splinter Cell 2 came out, which was like a stealth espionage game, they had Splinter Cell Co-op Theater, where it was two Splinter Cell agents, like in character, like doing basically skit comedy in Splinter Cell Co-op. And at one point, one of the characters becomes obsessed with this fictional, like in-universe TV show of this guy wandering around in like a Conan the Barbarian type setting, where he's just like he's a wandering monk of the god Kaniathan, and what does he do? Mostly killing people. And so like he gets in the mindset around this fictional character, and he starts calling himself Thorr-Axe the Impaler, and I was like, oh, that's funny. That'd be a funny stupid band name. And then 5 years later, I was starting a band, and then I think it was like 2 years later. 2 years later, I was starting a band, and it's like, hey, I've got a dumb name for this. I wanted something people could grind, like Slayer. Yeah. And there was I think a lot of that, it weighed on me eventually. I think that was part of the contributing factor of us like splitting up, because I was just like, I felt like nobody fucking took us seriously. I think it was just, we'd been around for so long, and we would just post goofy shit all the time because we were one of the few bands that weren't afraid to try to be funny with how we did things.
Mm-hmm. So you say people didn't take you seriously, but you had quite a big following, and you toured a lot and traveled quite a bit when you were previously active as Thorr-Axe. So what was one moment on the road with Thorr-Axe that has stood out to you?
I've got a few. Man. Playing at an Elks Lodge basement in Montana as part of like a festival out there. Playing the slot right before Acid King. That was a big one. That was fucking crazy. That was our first time playing in Montana. And now, like in any band I'm in, we get a chance to play in Montana. We're going. I love it out there. Because nobody fucking tours out there.
Yeah.
So it's always a packed house every time we play there, in any band. Playing at the Black Sheep, which was like a little DIY all-ages space in Springfield, Illinois. And then in the middle of the last song, the owner of the venue coming on stage, basically telling us to cut that shit out and announcing that the show is canceled because somebody tore the sink out of the women's bathroom out of the wall. Eating shit on stage in Madison, Wisconsin, and splitting my eyebrow open. And like, it was the second song, so I was just a bloody mess the whole rest of the set. There's some cool photos of that.
I am sorry you hurt yourself, but I took that literally as I was like, oof, eating. It's like G.G. Allen up here.
I think it was Whitest Kids. Whitest Kids, had like a G.G. Allen parody skit where a guy is just like, he's playing, it sounds like he's doing like Wiggles type music, but it's like at the most like, the standard like you think of like a dirty like DIY venue, and he's just like playing like Wiggles type music, but then he's doing the G.G. Allen thing of like shitting his hand, throwing it at people.
So are there any specific goals you're looking to reach with the Rebirth?
I just want people to have a good time. I mean, we did a reunion show on 4/20/24 when we just came back just for one night, and I mean it was a blast. I mean, I had people coming up to me saying that Thorr-Axe was their first like heavy band that they ever saw, and because that was back in the Rhinos days that they were talking about, and it was maddening to hear that. It's just very, very cool. I hope to like to get people, not necessarily to have a sense of nostalgia, but just kind of remind people like, hey, you can have fun with this music, and it's I want to make you feel like you're 16 again, man. I'm trying to help y'all chase the dragon on that one. I just want everyone to have a good time. As far as like personal goals for where I would want to go, I want to get out on the road more. Any vehicle that can help me, get back to Montana, honestly, I'm all here for. I like going places, meeting people, and crushing them with riffs.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about the new album and maybe a teaser on a release date?
Release date is very to be determined. We're in the middle of recording it right now. I'm probably actually going to go start tracking guitars right after this. We got a couple working titles, potentially. It just depends on kind of which song I feel like pinning the album title as. Musically, it's kind of I call it a halfway point between the first two full lengths. It's a halfway point between Wall of Spears and Gates of Winter. Like I said, it's taking the black metal element in kind of a different direction, and holding on to the stoner doom stuff a little more steadfastly. It's very difficult to explain. I think I'm just I kind of want to wait until I actually have the material done and just start dropping it on people to try to articulate my thoughts a little better on it. Yeah. Just because it's a nebulous mass right now. I still have lyrics to write.
Now, can you tell us about your return show? When, where, and who?
The comeback show is going to be November 14th at the Bishop with Omen Killer and Lucius Fox.
So where can fans keep up with your upcoming shows, progress of your album release date, and anything else about Thorr-Axe related?
We used to be way busier on Facebook, but my brain is wired better for Instagram anymore. Mm-hmm. So Instagram, it's just Thorr-Axe Doom, I think. I can't remember. I might have actually just grabbed Thorr-Axe.
Seems like he's a lot more active on Instagram, right?
Yeah. I might have gotten like on the ground floor of it. It's just Thorr-Axe. Oh my god, yeah.
That's
We're on Instagram as Thorr-Axe, 2 R's. You can't put a hyphen in your Instagram name, but we got one in the name. Bandcamp, we got Bandcamp. So follow us on there. It'll keep you up to date on when new stuff drops, because we got plenty in the oven. We got stuff cooking.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's all the time we have for now. Thanks again for coming out and spending time with us. We can't wait to hear the new album.
Yeah, I'm beyond excited for your return. I know you're a very important band to Achilles, who's like a brother to me, so that makes me even happier for him. Yeah, this makes my heart happy, and I can't wait to see you on stage again, and hopefully we can share that stage one day.
Absolutely. I'm sure we will.
All right, thanks for tuning in to Noise and Nonsense. Be sure to follow us for more conversations with the bands shaping their musical communities throughout Indiana.